There we go.
Yes, man.
You're good there, and I'm good here. Yeah, I mean, 100 episodes, I said, statistically, I think it's 12 or 13 episodes where people just abandon it because they realize it's so much more difficult. Right? I mean, anybody,
I can see why it's
any idiot can buy microphones, but to craft a show and to show up, mainly it's work ethic, to show up every single week or whatever schedule you're going to decide to
Are
do.
you filming something on your phone?
No.
Okay.
No, I got buttons here.
Oh, you got the buttons there.
I've got buttons here. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So anyone can buy a microphone, but to show up on a consistent basis, treat this like a job. If you want to build an audience, why should that audience trust you if you're going to be all over the place? Like, you do one episode 1 week and then 3 months go by and you haven't done an episode. Why are they going to come back? Right. They can't trust you.
Well, it was like that for a bit. Remember at the start?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember after we did the Nima episode, we didn't record an episode for like 2 months.
It was hard getting guests. That's the other challenge.
Yeah, but it was, I could have gone guests, but there's just part of me where, like I said before, just starting the podcast was a big deal for me.
Right.
And then just getting guests was another big deal. So I was just kind of content with just doing an episode every like 3 weeks, couple months, and then just saying, oh, I did great. But no, at some point I just decide, dude, I'm just going for it. I don't really know what the point of just doing it sporadically here and there is at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, 100 episodes. I can't even name there's no way I would be able to name every single guest we've ever had. There's no chance. It just doesn't seem that much though. It doesn't seem like we've had that many guests on. Even though it's 100 different episodes, I don't remember bringing 100 different people on. Well, granted, a few of them were reoccurring, and then you came on a few times, so there's that.
That's true.
Yeah, man, it's been a journey, and I'm totally excited for it because it's just starting. I feel like I haven't even hit my stride yet. You know what I mean? Like I don't even feel like I've hit my stride in podcasting and how good it could get and just like where we could take it. And
yeah, because it takes a while. It takes a while for you to find your it takes a while for you to find your footing. Like you need to do a lot of episodes before you're even remotely good. And I know a lot of people that I respect that say you got to do like your first 200 episodes. Marques Brownlee, famous YouTuber, very successful, says you got to do at least 200 episodes. And in fact, your first 200 episodes are probably going to be unbearable. But you need to just put in the hours to, like anything, to just get good at anything. It's a craft. If you want to be a good interviewer, you have to work on your listening skills, and that takes time, right? But also, you can't just teach everybody, I don't think, to be a really good interview. Like I think anybody with training can get better, but the truly skilled interviewers are just naturally curious. You know what I mean? Like somebody like, for example, Larry King, who had a track record for notoriously not really preparing for his guests. Like he would have guests on and he wouldn't know that much about them. In fact, a lot of people would come on, maybe they had written an autobiography and he didn't even really read the book, or maybe he read a little bit, but he didn't do that much prep. But the guy was naturally curious and could carry a conversation. And that's hard to do. Like you've heard the term soft skills and hard skills, right? Like there's certain soft skills somebody has. It's really hard to train people in that way.
Yeah, some people just have it.
Some people just have it.
Yeah, some people just have it. Some people don't. Just like anything else, like any other skill.
Exactly.
Right. You can get better at it, but there is like a limit. There is a bit of a cap on how much you could get better, and it's just genuinely being interesting. Like I don't, but people that are not that interesting and don't really have a personality, it's pretty hard for them to start it. It's rough. Yeah. It's a rough listen. I mean, there's a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people want to start a podcast. Like, you know, people have told us that they want to start a podcast. Here's the thing. I'm never going to bash someone for starting something and wanting to do something, but
Sure.
like, it's a rude awakening to just how different, because people just think, dude, people really do think it's just sitting down and just talking. No, it's, I mean, if anyone's seen our studio, if anyone's seen the level of production we use, it's pretty daunting. Like when you walk into this place, you got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever these are, like 14 different lights, like beaming fucking lights at you. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there's a lot in here.
3 cameras and like this whole desk full of like buttons and stuff. Like it's a pretty intimidating setting. And then once we start saying, okay, let's record it, you can't just sit there and act. I mean,
Yeah.
we've gotten better at it because we've been doing it for so long. But even now, we were just talking about it. As soon as I saw the ISO recording thing start, I said, "Oh,
Anxiety's building.
a little bit." It's just like, okay, we are recording. I can't just, because here's the thing: if I don't show up, if I don't deliver, I'm wasting my time being here, and I'm wasting your time. Like, what kind of recording, what kind of episode was that, right? I mean, we can't just sit here and just talk about nonsense, right? We got to bring something to the show. We got to talk about something worth listening to. And so that is anxiety inducing in its own way. I mean, when the ISO recording starts recording, you know, I'm on. You got to deliver.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's important. Yeah, you got to bring your A game. Treat it seriously. I don't know if I mean, you know, I'm not going to say I'm the best in the world, but I definitely, you know, for someone that's been doing it for 15 years, I feel like I've probably learned something. So yeah, you got to work on it. And you never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that actually I wanted to talk to you about, is because this is 100 episodes. Obviously you're a little bit older now. I've seen your personal growth, your growth journey, you maturing and becoming a better interviewer, better communicator, and you know, and the schooling that you've had and your career path and choices have led you to do something that is also, I think your job is helping you become a better communicator in this show. And I think the two things are feeding each other. I don't know if you feel that way, that this is helping you relax and be a better communicator, and I think the other way around, you know, and I think those two, they're helping each other.
Yeah, I think they definitely go hand in hand. I think that in a way, I've told you this before, doing this for me is very therapeutic.
Sure.
I mean, there's therapeutic value in me coming here, sitting down with you or whoever else, and just talking for an hour and 20, whether it's about our feelings or emotions or anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think that I really pride myself on being a good communicator now. But it has its pitfalls, and the way I can explain the pitfalls of being a good communicator now, and obviously always room to get better, is that I do this to myself, and I'm sure other people hold me to this standard, but
sure.
I've gone to this place where I feel like I can't afford to fall under that standard of communication. So in whatever situation, whatever setting I get into, whoever I'm talking to, I feel like I need to be at my A game in every single conversation. Now that's a lot, man.
I got
like
you, yeah.
That's a lot of pressure that I put on myself, because now whether it be at work, with family, with a coworker, with another student, a friend, it's almost as if, because they now know that I'm a podcaster, they now know that my career of choice involves listening and speaking. So anything that may fall under the standard of a great communicator is it feels weird to people, and it feels weird to me now because I just feel like I need to be at my sharpest, at my A game in every conversation. I mean, I had an example last week. It was my I think it was, I don't remember what day it was. I think it was Tuesday. I was really upbeat that day. I was, communicating, having a good time. I had full of energy that day. And then the next day I was not as I was more tired. I just didn't feel like talking as much. And immediately within 15 minutes of me getting to work, my coworker asked me, "Are you okay? Something, you seem off." And I feel like with any other person, my coworker wouldn't have said that to that person because that's just the level that they're at. But because I was on such a high the day before, that anything that falls beneath that,
right,
is what's wrong with Mo? What is something wrong? Are you tired? Are you going through something? Did something bad happen? Right? But it's not the case. I'm just tired. I just sometimes I gas out. I hit a cap. Do you know what I mean? And then that kind of fucks with me because now I'm thinking, well, fuck, like I need to be on my A game. I need to be at this high level of energy and focus and just boom, 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 saying the right thing, just being clever as hell, enthusiastic all the time.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a perilous thought process. I mean, you strike me as someone who like gets into their own head a lot. Is that fair to say?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. You know how I get.
Yeah, it's I think on a positive note, I think that wanting to be at your best at all times, I think that's admirable to do that. I think that's probably more than what a lot of people, I don't know if the average person is really actively that in tune with their own communication style. This is just a guess. I don't really know. I don't have anything concrete to prove this, but my guess is that a lot of people, judging by the average person I talk to, I don't know how aware they are about how they come across. And so I think that's a good thing that you're setting yourself to this high bar that you want to achieve. And I think it's okay if some days you're just tired. And I think that's,
but it's hard to
that's totally fine.
It's hard to keep that high bar all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because I go through my own shit. I can't just be on a high level of communication and just being boom, 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 sharp all the time. Like it's impossible unless I'm in a manic episode that is lasting for a couple months, right? Like you kind of get what I'm saying? Like I also,
yeah.
But then because I also feel like I have an obligation to keep that standard because of who I am and what I'm doing in terms of podcasting and the career I'm going into. So if I get away from that a little bit, it's like, well, what's wrong with Mo? Are you good, man? Like, what's happening? Like, did something happen? Are you going through it? It's like, no, man, I'm just tired. I mean, I'm just exhausted. Right? And I feel like I need to give myself that bit of acceptance and that grace that, hey, Mo, you can't always be dialed in to every single conversation. Like it's exhausting.
Yeah, I think you said that really well. I'm not sure I have any advice for you other than what you just said was really well put, that just being more gentle and kind to yourself. I think that's great advice for anybody, because I think we, especially as creative people, we tend to be our own worst critics. And I know I'm extremely critical about every little thing I do. Even if I'm, even though I have years of experience doing something, I'll do a project and then I'll immediately start thinking about all I didn't do this right, I didn't do this right, all the things that I could have done better. And at some point you have to also let go and just go, that thing that I did was as good as I could make it. Sure, maybe some mistakes happen. There's also some things that are just out of your control. Like with this, I can't control what people say. If you're interviewing somebody, all we're doing is we're just capturing a moment in time. I have no control over what people say.
Right.
The only thing I can do is make the edit as best as I can to best represent you and represent the guest.
Right. Yeah.
And that everything else you just have to let go because you'll drive yourself insane.
Yeah. I love how you say control, man, because that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about. It's pretty amazing how many things in this world are out of our control.
Oh, tons. And we're all worried about every aspect of it.
Like we pretty much have I mean, that's the thing. I would say we probably have no control on 90 to 95% of the things going on in the world.
Yeah.
There's only a 5% difference of what we can control. Now, think about that. Like a lot of people I mean, I feel like it's a good time to bring it up now too, is because the elections just happened. Trump just became president. I see a lot of people really angry about it.
Yeah.
Really, really upset and really, I mean, taking it with them throughout the week. I mean, a lot of people I know have been downright
I understand.
upset. And here's my thing. Here's my thing with this.
Okay.
With control. Whether you wanted Trump to win or not, whether you care about politics at all, the moment he got elected, you need to stop thinking about it right there and then, especially if you live in Canada. What good does it, like, what could we have honestly done to influence the election? And if
Zero.
And the fact that he became president is, I still had to wake up on Wednesday morning, go to work, go to the gym, and think about what I'm going to do for the podcast and for school. Like, nothing for me to take it home, for me to even slightly for a minute think about it after he got elected is wasted energy.
There's so many more important things to think about. I heard somebody say this as well recently, too, after the election. Is like, look, there's a democratic process for a reason. The reality is people voted for who they thought they wanted to be in office. And that's it. He won fair and square. You can't be butthurt over that.
He annihilated her. There's no, yeah, exactly.
All you can do is just hope that person, when they get into office, which, by the way, it's going to be Donald Trump's second time around, you would think that maybe he has learned something along the way. I would hope. So I try to be cautiously optimistic.
But that's out of our control.
I don't even
that's
have
my point, though.
My personal feelings aside, all I can be is cautiously optimistic that my friends down south are going to have a decent president. That's all we can do. It's his last time. He can't be elected a third time. So he's going to do this term and he'll be done. And then we'll have somebody
else.
He
has said that he wants to take away voting.
Well, so, I don't think we should get into that.
Yeah, but, I'm not going to get into politics here, but the point is, the reason we're having this conversation is it's so out of our control. It's for me to wake up the next morning, Wednesday morning, and feel upset about it still. I choose not to go through that. I'm not going to say who I wanted to win. I'm not political. I couldn't tell you anything about politics. I'm not very in tune with it. I need to get more knowledgeable. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what I'm talking about because I don't. But for me to take it home with me until the next morning and throughout the week is pointless. Like, it doesn't. I've gone to the point where if I can do something about it, if it is in my control, even slightly out of my control, I'm out. Like, I'm not even. And it comes down to mental discipline, man. It comes down to mental discipline. Like, going on Instagram and seeing all these people post about, oh, if you voted for Trump, our values and beliefs don't align. You can go and follow me. And I see all these people that are heard about it and talking about how you know, America didn't learn their lesson the first time. Now they have to go through it again.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, I get the sentiment. I get it. I get the point of voicing that. You still have to go to work.
Yeah.
You still have to take
There you go.
You still have to go buy groceries and make dinner. Like, just have the
100%.
mental discipline to really get it out of your head and just be present in the moment in what you can control for yourself. That's it. I mean,
yeah, because it's just really unhealthy to dwell. I have friends, and I won't say their names for privacy reasons, but I have longtime friends that I can't talk about this stuff with them because they are, and I'm a very liberal person, but I'm conservative in some ways. But I'm the kind of person that will talk to anybody, whatever your political stance, whatever your beliefs are. I like to look at both sides of the conversation. I think it's really healthy. I don't think we do a lot of that. We're already so divided, and I think we don't have the ability to have a humane conversation with people anymore. It's just like, oh, you don't believe in what I believe, so I'm going to cut you out of my life. I don't think that's really healthy. And I get maybe some people are toxic and maybe they've gone down the road of conspiracy theories and all this stuff. And I get how mentally taxing that is to listen to somebody. Like maybe you've got a crazy uncle, everybody's got one maybe, you know, where it becomes difficult to listen to them. But just remember that they're still human beings. Like I'm not gonna disown a family member because they have different beliefs than I do, right? So I don't know. That's all I really want to say on that is just have a conversation with people and realize that they're human and just let go of everything else because it's just poisonous, man. It's poisonous if you're thinking about stuff that you can't control.
but even back to what you just said, where we're so divided,
Right.
do you feel like you can do something about that? Like you, Alex, can you do something about that to make us less divided?
No. It's too big of a problem. It's
Okay.
too complicated. There's just no.
And how much
do
does that
anything.
get to you? How much does that get to you that you can't do anything about it?
Doesn't get to me at all.
Okay, so you have reached
No,
acceptance.
I not only just acceptance. I don't want to say I don't care, but I know I definitely can't do anything about it. So it's not even a thought in my mind at all.
What did you feel when Trump got elected? What were your feelings? I mean, and I'm not asking in the sense that you wanted him to win or not, but what did you feel for our social climate?
My only feeling was I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I had a strong suspicion that he would win, and the reason why is because that unfortunately people will vote. There's a large portion of people that vote also not just based on someone's platform and and what they want to do, but they also will vote based on personal feelings about how they think about you, right? Whether or not they like you. How likable are you? And that is a giant percentage of that is a giant percentage in terms of influence on how people make decisions. And I hear this from coworkers, and I don't like Kamala Harris, or that's just one example, but I don't like Kamala Harris because of X. There's just something about her I don't like, right? And people will vote based on a thought, based on a feeling. It's probably irrational. I don't know if she'll make a good president or not, or if she would have. I have no idea. But I'm just saying that some people vote on emotion, and it's kind of scary if you think about that. But that's what it comes down to. And I think that that a lot of things that Trump says resonates with a lot of people, whether he's saying something that's truthful or not. And it's as simple as that, really.
Great. I love how you said all that. How have you, Alex, learned to accept that, all of that, and just let go of it and not let it affect you?
Well, for one thing, I'm Canadian, so I can't vote. So I have no, I'm just sitting here. I'm kind of like sitting here on the sidelines like a spectator, to use a sports analogy. I'm not on the field playing, so I'm just sitting there enjoying the chaos.
So what would
right?
what would you say to our fellow Canadians that are extremely hurt about this?
I'd say go about your day and focus on your own life. Focus on improving the things that you can control. You're not happy with your job, go look for something else. Find something that you're passionate about. Start writing it down on a piece of paper, like literally write down the things that you haven't done, that you want to do, and start focusing on the things that you can control. Because all the other stuff, it's a waste of space. Don't let it consume parts of your brain. It's just like, it's a waste of energy, and it's just not worth it.
I want to keep talking about control because 4 years ago, during the presidential battle between Biden and Trump, I was really, affected by it. Like I was really like into it. Like
a lot of people were.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it was something that was like I caught on to and just wasn't really letting go of. And
well, the whole country and Canada was a lot of people got emotional about it.
I just turned 29 yesterday, man, and as I've gone older, what I've learned during 28 is that I'm done. I'm really, really, really done caring about a lot of things and just learning to accept a lot of things. Now, to give you an example of what I mean by that, and it could be as simple as this. Okay, now picture this. Before, if I was driving on the highway or on a crowded street and I saw someone cut me off, or if I saw someone that was in front of me in the fast lane in the highway going 20 kilometers below the speed limit, this is what old Mo would do. I would swerve, cut the person off, look at them, see what abomination of a person this person is, I
think we've all done that.
No, but listen, drive past them, drive off. For the next 30 seconds, think about it. For the next 30 seconds, think about how awful of a human being that person was for cutting me off or going 20 kilometers slower than the speed limit. What does that do for me? What does that do for me? For 30 seconds after I cut this person, I speed up and cut this person off, look at this person. Oh, fuck you, you motherfucker. Yo, you pussy. Done. They're in the past, literally, quite figuratively and figuratively speaking. And to continue to think about it 30 seconds later, like, oh, that motherfucker, I can't believe there's people like that drive like that. Like, get off the street. What does that do? That does nothing for me, dude. Nothing. I'm telling you, it's this mental discipline that people need to, and I'm not going to advise people. It's not like I'm a sensei here telling people what to do, but I've gone to the point in my life where if someone is distracting me, if someone does something to me, if someone does something I don't like, I just learn to feel it in the moment, feel all the emotions of anger, resentment, disgust, rage, but then quickly flip it into acceptance and move on. I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, my friend told me, I don't know what the context of the conversation was, but he just told me, yeah, so-and-so doesn't like you, Mo. So-and-so doesn't like you, and they said some pretty nasty things about me. Normally, I'd be like, this motherfucker, like,
you're going to be thinking about it all day.
I'm going to be thinking, it's going to get to me. Yeah. I should message this guy and be like, fuck you, man. Who do you think you're talking about, man? You don't even know me. What you come say to my friends, come say to my face. Instead, the new Mo 2.0, I took it, felt it. I'm not saying don't feel the anger and the disappointment of hearing that someone is saying all these bad things about you. I'm not saying don't feel. I felt all of it. I was like, damn, really, that person thinks that? 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, learned to accept it, moved on. Like it's a real mental workout. It's a real thing, man.
Yeah, I don't disagree. You know, I used to get a lot of road rage too when I was younger, and still occasionally get pissed off, but definitely don't do I used to do the thing that you did, where I would, you know, cut somebody off and look at them and stare at them or honk the horn, whatever. But it's interesting too when you explained all the thoughts that you had about who that person was. I find that very interesting because we often make judgments about people in a fleeting moment. That moment in the car was probably 10, 15 seconds, not even, right? And suddenly you're making all these judgments about this person that you've never met before, that you probably will never see again. Like you're all these thoughts about, oh, this person's a shitty human being. Just imagine how they are in real life, how they interact with other people, and it's like you don't know what they're.
Yeah.
There could be all sorts of reasons. It could be just something as simple as they're not paying attention to the speed limit, right? And it doesn't mean anything about their character as a human being.
And what do you sometimes do? You internalize it. Oh, this person cut me off because they're trying to do me wrong.
Oh yeah,
because
totally.
That's another thing. We never think about it as maybe this person's in a rush. Maybe they just got a phone call from their grandma that their dog just died,
right.
Or someone's in serious trouble, or they need to take an absolute piss, just a stupid amount of piss that they're holding back. You don't know that. But our mind jumps to, this motherfucker cut me off because he doesn't like me. He wants to get ahead of me in life, and he wants to take every opportunity I have in this world to be great. That's what that's what my mind jumps to, that this person's trying to one up me. This person's trying to take advantage of me.
Yeah. I've thought that too. Yeah, it's definitely occurred to me, and I think you're right. You absolutely have to. What you said was great about feel that, but then move on. Like figure out just how to move on with your day very quickly, because having that thought linger in your mind. Here's the other thing too. And I like to check my baggage at the door when I get to work, because I can tell when somebody comes into work, when there's some kind of personal problem that they're dealing with, and it starts to affect their mood. Like the moment they walk in the door, and it's happened to me, and I've been there, and I've done that,
Like a customer,
where you walk,
like a client?
Well, I'm just saying, I've been that person where I show up at work and I'm in a mood, and I'm like, maybe I'm a little snippy. I react in ways that I shouldn't, and I'm kind of short with people, and people can tell when there's something off about you. And I don't like doing that, and I especially don't like I don't like it when people pointed it out to me that, hey man, you gotta, when you come in here, like you're here to work, don't bring that shit in here. And so I had to change. So I think what you're saying is really great, is just learning how to move on, and just when you show up to work, don't, because it's just poisonous, man. It affects everything. It affects how you work with other people. And just remember, you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your family. 8 hours out of the day, 5 days a week, 40 hours.
Yeah, you're right.
40 hours a week. Think about that. That's a lot. And so, it's important that you deal with that stuff and just not let it affect your personal and professional life, right? Because think about how many people go home and see their wife, their children, their loved ones, their spouse, and they internalize that stuff, and they come home, they're like, motherfucker, you should have seen this person on the highway, and they just and it kind of ruins your night when somebody's like that. It's like, can you not do that? Can you not do that when you come in the house?
And forget about other people, man. Most importantly, it's hurting you. It's taken away from your energy. It's taken away from your happiness.
Life's too short, man. It's just not.
It's too short, dude. And
it's not worth it.
It's so not worth it. And there's so much out of our control, dude. And not to do a little therapy session, but when you're having those days, what are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
When you get into work, why are you, what's going through your mind?
It's been a while though. Just trying to think. There have been some recent moments where I came into work and the person that I directly report to noticed that something was off. And he actually asked me, he's a really nice guy, in private, he asked me, like, is everything okay? Is something wrong? And I had to tell him, and it was just something that had been happening. Sometimes it's something as simple as like finances, something as simple as that. And, but I try not to bring that stuff to work, but people notice it right away when there's something off. And so, sometimes I do have stuff going through my head, and it's really hard to stop thinking about it. But I'm not perfect. What I'm saying is that all I do is I try to show up to work and not have that stuff like lingering in my mind. I try really hard to not think about it. Just think about something, like focus on the job. For me, I have to find something that I can focus on, right? Find something that can draw my attention away from whatever other problems or worries I have in my life, and just do that, laser focus on that.
Are you more hard on yourself when you're at work and you can't focus on anything else? Like whatever is going on in your life, and you can't find something else to distract you. It sounds like that really bothers you. The fact that you have to hold it on during work and it lingers into work. Sounds like that's one thing that bothers you a lot.
Yeah, it is sometimes, but one thing that I find that helps for me, because I have a very physical job that involves moving things around, lifting stuff, I will find things to do that involve here's a crazy thing. Even as something as simple as cleaning, I find kind of zen. Just like, I'm just going to focus on making things look good. I find something like simple like that actually quite helps me. Just like dusting and vacuuming and that kind of stuff. I find little tasks like that. Even at home.
What about it is so zen?
Because for me, I don't know. I kind of it allows me to clear my head. That's something that I find that I can clear my mind more easily if I focus on something, just like a menial task that's not really exciting, like cleaning. In that example, is it allows me to clear my head, and I do this weird thing. This is going to sound super weird. Like when someone tells me to clear my head, I close my eyes. I imagine that I am looking at all I see is white. The thoughts, whatever's I'm thinking of, all the things I'm visualizing. If it was that guy that pissed me off on the highway, it kind of dissolves away, and all I see is just pure white. And I try to keep that image of pure white in my mind for as long as I can. And then I take a deep breath, and then I open my eyes again. And then I find I feel better after that. I've been doing that since I was a kid.
To me, it sounds like you don't like having a cluttered mind.
No, even that's why I try to be, even when it comes to things like around the house, try to keep things clean. And you're probably noticing a trend too, even as something as simple as just putting some effort into making the bed in the morning. Like, I don't like it, just clutters things up in my brain. I even told you before we started the show, just like that counter over here at the kitchen, was just full of crap. It's been bothering me for way too long. Right. And I felt so much better after cleaning that up. Just literally, it's like that. It clutters my mind.
What are your thoughts on that being a part of you wanting a sense of control over things?
Oh, yeah, you're digging deep. But that's a huge part of it. I didn't even think about that. You're probably right. It's a part of me that does want to, and those are things that I can control. So the things that I can control, I'm really going to go hard, like all in on the things that I can control. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like it emphasizes the things that I can't. So like the things that I can't control, you better believe I'm going to go all in and 100% in on.
On the things that you can control.
Yeah. Because otherwise I just go crazy.
So control is a big thing.
Yeah.
Control is a big thing for you. Another thing of control, man, I think when people are so focused on controlling people, and it's insane to me because I can't even control my own mind, my own thoughts throughout a single day. I can't control what I'm thinking about. My mind is moving at a rapid pace. That's my own mind. That's Mo's mind that I have trouble controlling most of the time. Now you're expecting me to control whether this person's gonna like me or not. You're gonna expect me to control whether this person's gonna message me back on time or send me a happy birthday or a thank you or a you're welcome or a compliment. I think people need to understand that, dude. Like, you can't even control yourself. I mean, I can't control my own thoughts.
Right.
Whether you, Alex, whether I message you after this episode and you never message me back, you never decide to reply to me again, block me on everything, just fall off the face of the earth. It's such a liberating feeling to accept that. Like, I feel like the theme of this episode is just going to be acceptance. Like, I accept the fact that people come and go. People come and go. People are dust in the wind. I can't fixate my happiness or my level of value based on how fast someone is going to message me back, whether someone's going to compliment me, whether someone's going to tell me the podcast is going great, when I can't even control myself. I can't even control my own mind. How am I supposed to control someone else's actions? You kidding me?
When you say control, are you talking about manipulation? Because in a sense
I'm not talking about manipulation.
Because manipulating people is a whole other.
No, I'm not. It's not even about manipulation, man. Whether it's just, I'm not afraid anymore to be disappointed by people, to be left behind by people, to not get the level of respect I feel like I deserve, because why would I expect that from anyone else? Why would I expect that from anyone else when I can't control what that other person wants to do anyways? Like, it just comes back to out of my control. Whether my mom ever wants to text me back, whether my mom ever wants to call me again, is out of my control. Now, there's a very, 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 very high chance that she will. But if that was to ever happen where she just went completely ghost, I need to be completely okay with it, because I'm not in control of what another person does. I can't even control my own fucking mind, man. And like, I wish sometimes I had a bit of more control. I don't know, dude. You know what? I was reading something the other day. I looked this up. But you know that voice that's in your head? I'm not talking about schizophrenia or auditory hallucinations, but that voice inside your head that talks to you, and you talk to yourself about things, and that, dude, apparently only like 25 to 30% of people have that. What?
Really?
Apparently not every person has that voice inside your head telling you what to do or how shitty that performance was, or that motivate. What do you? That's crazy, dude. That I read that and I was like, what the fuck?
I would definitely say I have internal thoughts.
Some people apparently don't have that voice in their head.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you prove that though?
Yeah,
that's really hard. That's really hard. I don't know if I believe that. I'm very skeptical about that.
That scared the shit out of me, because I have that voice pretty much all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's more prominent for some people, for sure, especially like someone like you. If you're getting constantly in your own head about every little thing, and you got to have a bit of an anxiety thing happening. I can see that. I can definitely see that, and I have that to a degree. I've worked. It's something that I've had to work really hard, be very aware of my own internal behavior, like my behavior and the way my brain works. I feel like I'm constantly fighting it. Definitely constantly fighting it. It's really hard. It'll never go away. that internal, that anxiety, that oh, what did they think about me, and oh, I shouldn't have done that, and all that, all those little things, and I've learned to care less about that. I used to care a lot more in my 20s about what people thought about me, and not as much, definitely not as much anymore. So it's you have to work on it. I think you have to. I think that's everybody should work on themselves for sure.
What does that mean to work on themselves? Though?
It means it means actively think about, like, be aware. I mean, there's different approaches, I suppose. Like, you could, like, hey, if writing it down on a piece of paper, journal, whatever. I don't do that, but if that helps, just write down, like, these are the thoughts that I'm like, this is how I'm prone to thinking about certain things.
Like, at least that gives you a roadmap.
I talked to my sister about, like, exactly, a roadmap is a good way to think about that. But I talked to my sister about this stuff a lot. Maybe confiding in somebody, whether it's someone, a close friend or a sibling, or maybe a therapist, even better. Find somebody to talk to about this stuff. Like, I have thoughts about death a lot. I think about my own mortality a lot, probably in an unhealthy way. I shouldn't have these thoughts, I feel like, constantly in my mind 24/7. Doesn't matter what. Like, not every moment of every minute of every day, but definitely at one point I'll probably think about that. Like, I'll probably I sometimes I'll be driving and I'll create these, like, little mini movies in my head about how I'm gonna die, and then it's my funeral, and then I'm visualizing how people are reacting to my death. It seems insane, but I have those thoughts, like, and not even just of myself. Sometimes, like, a few months ago, I was just driving and I saw there was a car in front of me and the window was rolled down. And this dog had its head stuck outside the window. And I immediately thought, what if that dog just did something stupid, like jumped out of the window and then I ran over and killed it? Like, why do I have these thoughts? I don't understand why that popped in my head.
What do you feel? What do you feel when you have those thoughts?
I hate it. I feel powerless. I feel like I shouldn't have these irrational thoughts. It's so random. Why?
Why shouldn't you have those irrational thoughts? What's wrong with it? I mean, it's not happening. It's not real.
It's not real, but it bothers me. Like, I actually
what bothers you about it?
Well, because, like, it just. Well, first, it's horrific. Like, the idea, I love animals. The idea that even by accident.
Well, forget about the animal one. I'm talking about the death thoughts.
Okay. Oh, like my own death?
Yeah.
Because I suppose it's always, for me, I'm very aware of my own accomplishments and the things that I've done and haven't done throughout my life. And I always feel like I'm fighting. Like, I feel like, I'm 42 now, and I feel like I'm just barely becoming a proper adult, like, just sort of being financially responsible and stable. And I feel like I'm a bit of a late bloomer, and I feel like I still have so much more to do. And I know I'm still young and everything, but I just feel like the years are kind of like this year, for the first time, I actually didn't realize I had to think about how old I was. I actually completely forgot. Like, someone asked me and I had to think about that for a sec. Like, I thought, am I 40? No, I'm 41. No, I'm actually 42. I had to think about that for a bit. And I know from other people that are older than me, they tell me, well, it gets worse as you get older. You start to, like, you really forget about how old you are. But I have a lot more to do. I feel like I'm chasing, like, I like career goals. I'm not there yet. Oh, I need to make X dollars and I'm not there yet. And I need to be here, but I'm not there yet. And so, like, I think that's part of why I feel the mortality thing. I just feel like I've accumulated all this amazing knowledge over the years, and the thought of it just being snuffed out, like that knowledge just disappearing, because I'm an atheist, I don't believe in the afterlife. The thought of all that accumulated knowledge disappearing, and me not making an impact, and people not really remembering. I just feel like I'm just like a drop in the bucket. It's just like I'm not really putting a dent in the universe.
What's so daunting about thinking of yourself as a drop in a bucket? What's
Well,
so
see, I
bad about that? What's
suppose
so scary about that?
I suppose in one way we talked about acceptance. I should just accept that. Look, the reality is that most of us are going to live fairly mundane. You could call it mundane lives. Like, we'll all have careers. We'll all have love and lost in our lives, but a very small percentage, and I realize this, that a very small percentage of people are going to make a dent in the universe. There are very few Steve Jobs or Elon Musks of the world. I'm never going to be one of those people. And I should just accept that. I really should. But I just feel like, I would love to do more traveling. I haven't seen that much of the world. And I just feel like I'm kind of missing out. I see how like some people are living their lives, that they get to do a lot more traveling, see a lot more places. And I just feel like, why am I not doing that? Why am I stuck here doing this job, doing two jobs, trying to make a living? I just feel like, well, maybe I should, maybe I took a wrong path 20 years ago. And I feel like, oh, I'm trapped now. I can't do anything else. So I think about all that stuff. It's hard to let go of it.
Yeah. Feel like it's out of your hands now. It's like you can't really control that either now.
It's out of my hands in the sense that I do need to realize that I'm not going to be a Steve Jobs or an Elon Musk. That part is that's a ridiculous goal to think that I'm going to, have a startup and I'm going to be this multi-billion-dollar successful entrepreneur. That's not going to happen. I've never had a good sense of business. I've always been more of a creative, artsy type person. And I'm much better letting somebody else figure that part out. That's definitely a weakness of mine. I have good ideas, but I'm sometimes just following through on that. Finding the right people to work with is challenging. But so that I think I just need to accept. What I can control, though, I can definitely control my own career path. I mean, I don't have to continue doing the job that I'm doing now. I could just try to look for another job. But there's also that fear of, well, I'm comfortable, I got good benefits, and sometimes you think the grass is always greener on the other side, and then sometimes it's not, right? So I have a lot of friends that are just in unstable industries. There are lots of people that are out of work or having a harder time than me. So I feel like I should be fortunate. I should be thankful, right? Why aren't I more thankful of the job that I do have? But I also don't, at the same time, I don't want to be complacent, right? I'm fighting those two things of I should be thankful, but I don't want to be complacent.
What makes you think that you're being complacent now, though?
The fact that the job that I'm currently at, that I feel like I've sort of plateaued and I'm coming up on 6 years. That's a long time to commit to a job. So it's just the length of time.
What would the next step be in that job or that industry?
Well, I like the company that I'm working for, but I feel like I could be doing a different position. Like I just like moving up the corporate ladder, so to speak, but no opportunities have presented themselves to take advantage of. So, and I'm trying to make myself as, and this is a philosophy of mine, is to make myself as, never think that you're irreplaceable. I go into my job thinking I could be replaced, but I try to be as useful and valuable as I possibly can. So I'm always learning new things. Trying to be as valuable as I possibly can. That's generally my philosophy.
I don't know about you, man, but do you find it hard to stay present when you have all these goals and aspirations of who you want to be and where you want to be? Like I'm constantly thinking about where I'm at and where I want to be and where I'm not. And I think it's impossible to just stay in the present because of that. Like I have moments, I mean, I'll be out with my friends or we'll be out doing something and they can just see me in thought. They can just see me thinking about something and I'm just thinking, man, like I'm not there. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I feel like I should be or I deserve to be. And they usually tell me, well, just forget about it for now. Whatever we're doing, forget about it for now. And just worry about it later. Like, you're going to be thinking about it anyways. You're going to be thinking about it after this is done. So just distract yourself for the 2-3 hours that we're together. We're doing whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's just tough for me. Every environment, any situation I go to, even now sitting here on the drive home from this, when I get home tonight, when I go to my basketball game, I'm thinking of where I need to be and why I'm still not there, and what I deserve in this world. And sometimes I just wish I could turn that part of my brain off and just be normal and just not have this constant feeling of not being where I want to be. It's I think for people like that, people like me, and I'm not trying to make myself sound like I'm someone different or I'm more ambitious than the other person or whatever, but it's just, I feel for people like me and you, clearly you as well from what you just told me, it's near impossible to just sit in the present and just enjoy what we have right now and just be thankful. Like, it's terrible to say, but I just don't see that for myself. And a part of me is kind of glad that I'm not able to just sit with myself, because then that's what fuels me and that's what pushes me to go out and do something. But it gets to a point where it's overwhelmingly just stressful, because I have this picture in my head, and I'm sure you do. Like you said, you have these goals in your head of where you want to be, and you're not there. You're not there. You're really not. But then thinking about it now, as I'm even explaining this right now, my 20-year-old self looking at me now is exactly what the 20-year-old Mo would be looking at and being like, I want to be there where 29-year-old Mo is. Now that I'm here, I don't really, I still can't sit still. I still can't just sit there in my own presence. I just feel like I'm still on edge. I'm always on edge. I'm always just thinking about the next thing. I'm always just thinking about where I could be or where I could have been if I didn't give in to emotional bullshit throughout my 20s. Like, I wish I just didn't fold to so many of the distractions and the emotional downfalls I had in my 20s, where I let it get to me. And so, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just tough sitting there. And I think it's impossible for people like us.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know if I have good advice for you, but what I will say is, for me, and I wasn't always very good at this, and people made me aware of it too. There would be times where I very much like you, I was not present in the moment. I'd be out with my girlfriend. We'd be something simple as going out to a restaurant, meet her parents there, and I'm distracted. I'm thinking about other stuff. I'm looking at my cell phone. I don't even remember what it was that I was thinking about. Clearly didn't look like I really wanted to be there. And it was obvious. And she called me out on it. And I got defensive. I made excuses. I tried to put it back on her. Like it was something that she was doing. And that was really immature of me. That was a long time ago. It was 15 years ago. But all I can say is, for me, at least what I try to always remember is that when I go somewhere, I'm going to put my phone away. And one thing that helps is, for example, like if I go see my family, if I go for dinner, okay, the first thing I do when I get in the door is I'll leave my cell phone where my jacket is, so it's on the other side of the house. I'm not looking at my phone. I don't want it even within 10 feet of me. So something like that. And so I really try to be cognizant and aware of, I'm giving my time to other people. I'm here for them. I'm not here for me. And that's, for me, at least that works for me.
So when you're not with your phone, you're completely present. You're 100 million %.
Yes, and if I feel, and there are times where, like, if I go to a party or something, I don't feel like I'm present in the moment. For whatever reason, I don't want to be there. I just leave. I'll leave early. I'll go saying, thanks, see ya. Like I literally get out of that situation because for me, it's rude and it's more disrespectful for me to sit there and look like I don't want to be with you.
So in those situations, you're not thinking about your future and your goals and
No.
where you're not. And
No,
where
I'm not thinking about that stuff at all. At all. And so I don't want to tell you what you should do, but you may want to try like something as simple as when you go to somebody's house, leave your phone in your jacket. Like don't even have it close to you.
The phone, Alex. I wouldn't even say it's really the phone. I mean, the phone can perpetuate it for sure by just going on social media
because it's easy. It's a crutch.
100%. But even yesterday, I mean, I went to my mom's place for my birthday for dinner, and my family members came in.
Okay.
And my phone was away for most of the time. But even just sitting there and just eating food and just watching football Sunday, I was just thinking about the podcast. I was just thinking about, well, why don't we have this many followers? Why are we not doing this? Why am I still not?
Now, is it because maybe, do you think that you just don't really see that much importance on you don't place that much importance on your birthday? Because I certainly don't. Like maybe it's because you just don't really care. You don't care about that event. You didn't really care about all that much. So the podcast had a higher priority on you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be that for sure. But I mean, how would you explain that when I'm driving home after this? Like getting into my car and just driving home and I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing. You just did something. You did something creative and you had a conversation with somebody. I think that's perfectly normal to think about things.
Well, but
what I'm saying is when you go to when you get to that next thing that you need to do, like let's say a buddy of yours says, let's go for drinks. You need to make sure that you shut that part of your brain off, that you're being in the moment there. You're there for them. You're not thinking about the podcast. Like, and this is where I think you could also like talk to that person and just, again, going back to curiosity, talk to them like, hey, what's going on in your life? You're okay? Like, what do you like? Ask them about how their week went. Like, just ask them things about them. You shouldn't be talking all that much. It should be more about them.
You know, that question, how are you doing? How is Mo doing? How's Alex doing? More and more, I'm starting to, the answer for me is more and more, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. I always feel like I'm on the verge of absolutely losing it. Just going completely ballistic or just having a complete shutdown. It really does feel like I'm one bad decision or one intense event happening to me away from me just completely losing it all. It really feels like that. And if you were to ask me this morning, how are you doing, Mo? I don't really know how to answer that. I don't really know when am I good? When am I not good? When am I just okay? Sometimes I just don't know. I really just don't know.
I don't know about you, and this is going to get to something that I want to talk to you about, but I think asking somebody how they're doing or how it's going is a perfectly reasonable thing to ask, but I think we overuse that line of questioning. When you see somebody every day and you go, how are you doing? Well, sometimes my response, and people don't like this, well, Jim, I just saw you yesterday, and realistically, nothing has really changed since yesterday. So that's how I'm doing. Yeah. You know, it's just like I got to kind of give this snarky response, but I feel like we often overuse that line of questioning. And if you haven't seen a friend of yours in 6 months, then to me it seems like, well, that's more reasonable. I haven't seen you in 6 months, so I really don't know. You know, we've been pretty disconnected. I don't know how you're doing. And that leads me to a whole thing about small talk. And I think that's a part of it, is it drives me insane.
It's so, like, why can't we just leave it as, if I see someone, if you see someone from high school that you never talked to, never had a relationship with, there's no storyline there. You see them on the street. Oh, hey, Alex, how you been, man? Why can't we just leave it to, good to see you, Ben? Hey Ben, good to see you. Handshake, see ya. Why does it have to go into this? How you been, man? What have you been
Oh,
up to? Where do you
God.
work? This and that. Oh, we gotta go grab a couple beers and catch up. No, we don't.
No, we
we don't. We don't. Why do we need to catch up? What do we need to catch up on? We never caught up to anything back in the day. During that time, we never had a plot. We never had a storyline that we weren't catching up before. You weren't in tune with my life back then, so that now you need to catch up on what's going now. No, we don't. We don't need to catch up. Just leave it at, hey man, it's good to see you.
Totally. I don't understand this. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where I was just getting groceries and this guy recognized me. I didn't recognize him. And it took a sec. He started talking to me and he's like, oh, remember when we were in the same music production class in grade 10 or whatever. And I remember going to that class, but I didn't really remember me. And I was struggling and he saw this. And then it got more and more embarrassing and awkward because he's like, you don't remember me?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, we were in one class 25 years ago. I'm sorry, I don't remember you. We didn't hang out at lunch. We didn't hang out after school. We weren't friends. Like, I'm sorry if you're offended that I don't remember you. But congratulations on making this interaction extremely awkward while I'm trying to shop for groceries, right? Going back to what you just said, why can't we just leave it? Oh, hey, yeah, we went to the same school. It's great to see you.
Great to see you. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Good seeing you. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah.
See ya.
Or just a little head nod.
Like,
oh, I recognize you.
But this thing with small talk, like, and just a couple days ago, somebody in the elevator, I pushed the button for the third floor, which is the top floor, and the guy looks at me, and he goes, going to the top floor, eh? I'm like, yep. There actually is a fourth floor, but the elevator only goes up to the third floor. He's like, oh, cool. And then we just sat there in silence, like staring at each other, just like the longest fucking elevator ride ever. And you're just waiting. You're just waiting to get off. It's like, let me out of this fucking nightmare, this trap. I'm trapped in here. I'm trapped in a box with somebody who wants to engage in small talk.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Let's make a real effort to be honest with people. I want to be real honest.
But having a real, I don't mind. Here's the thing. I don't mind observations where, like, if you're trying to connect with someone, like if you're a stranger, right? I see you wearing a concert T-shirt, right? And it's like got Drake's face on it, whatever. Let's say it's the album cover of his latest record, right? And I go, oh, you're a Drake fan, eh? That new album's really great, eh? Oh, and then you're like, oh yeah, I love that. I love the third track. That single, it's pretty wicked. And so, like, that's okay.
What if I didn't want to talk to you though? Like, you just coming up to me and saying that, it's like, oh, this guy.
But you know what? That's
say,
where you got to read the body language, because you're probably going to be like, oh yeah, it's a great album. Anyway, see ya. Right? That's somebody that doesn't really want to talk anymore. Right? And that's fine. You got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But
I just wish
people are awkward and weird when they don't have to be.
I just wish we could normalize me just saying, oh yeah, it was a really good album. I really like the song Virginia Beach.
That's it.
Hey man, listen. I appreciate you coming up to me, but I really don't want to talk. I don't really know you. I'm having a bad day. I'm overthinking about the fact that I'm not where I want to be, and I just don't really want to talk to you.
That's
why can't we just
little too much information to say to somebody that you don't know?
But really, I mean, how much more freeing would that be if I just said that? Like this guy at the elevator a few weeks ago, this motherfucker, it's these little moments where I look back on and I tell myself, God, Mo, why couldn't you just been like real honest with this person or just really mess with this person? There's this guy, we probably talked to each other for 30 seconds max. I see him at the gym. He lives in my apartment. I've seen him in an elevator a couple times. One time he was like, going to the gym, hey? Yes. I have my water bottle and my AirPods in, and you know, I'm wearing these Lululemon shorts.
Excellent observation.
Great observation, man. You should be a fucking...
should be a detective.
Yeah, you should be a detective. Are you Inspector Gadget? Are you going to have an oil slick coming out of your hands? That's one of our interactions. One morning, I see him in the elevator. I'm talking 7 a.m. Says to me in the elevator, hey, man, going to the gym? No, not right now, man. Okay. What do you do for a living? He asked me that.
Just like completely out of the blue.
Completely out of the blue. And I told him what I do
Wow.
and this and that. I really, really wish in that moment I said, I'm a drug dealer. Because A, I'm making the situation like he knows I'm fucking with him. It's an indirect fuck off. 2, I feel more like, yes, like I got this guy. Because I want him to know. I want him to know asking that question is just downright just like stupid, bro. Because I don't really know you, first of all. I've had probably a maximum of 30 seconds interaction with you. You asking me if I'm going to the gym or not. And then you throw a curve, a knuckleball at me by saying, what do you do for a living? As if like
I'm gonna be honest, that's a bit weird to just
he
ask
said it like that,
somebody-
like straight
Yeah.
up. As it, what do you
wouldn't
do
it
for a
be
living?
wouldn't it be weird if it's the same guy that was in the elevator asked me about, hey, you going to the
Was
top?
he Persian?
No.
Yeah, there you go. And I wish or if I really wanted to be on my demon time, just say, hey man, I don't really know you like that, and it's 7 a.m. in the morning, and I just want to keep my eyes open, and for you to ask me what I do for a living is quite disrespectful, and I don't feel comfortable telling you about it because why does it matter what I do? You don't affect me. You have no position in my life, and we're just going to go on with our days. So no, I'm not going to tell you what I do for a living. Why couldn't I just say that?
Because you'd come across as a jerk. You'd be coming across
But
a little,
you're also coming
in
off as a
hot
goof
there.
by asking me, what do you
Yeah, I
do
get
for a
that.
living, just right off the bat? Like, I'm going to see your energy. I'm going to match your energy and raise that. Like, I wish more people need to be doing that. Or I could have just said, I deal a lot of cocaine.
Actually, I just got back from Florida. I had to inspect the new facility, the new production line. And you should just see that we got this really incredibly pure cocaine. I mean, it's just the best, the absolute best stuff. I mean, but I had to go supervise that.
And I don't know, just people like that. It's like, also, what are you? Not smart? Like, are you just not
I think
normal?
people look. I like engaging in conversation with strangers. I don't mind as long as the conversation's good and it's flowing and it's not awkward and weird. But I think people feel like maybe some people feel obligated that they need to fill silence. They always need to fill silence because it's awkward riding the elevator in silence.
Great.
with
I mean,
someone.
that's fine. You can
Right?
you can fill the silence with something, but to ask me, what do you do for a living?
I don't disagree. It's a little weird to just ask somebody else.
Because why? You want me to tell you and you want to judge me on what I do? Like, is that what it is? You're
No,
trying
I don't know. I think most people are trying to be pretty friendly. They're just a little weird and awkward. Maybe like that guy doesn't know how to handle himself in a conversation.
like, I don't know. Is it just like a
So,
cultural
I don't
blindness?
I don't know.
I
if
don't-
it's-
I
if
don't
it's
get
that,
it.
But
Do you still have a hard time, I guess, if a friend was to message you and ask you to hang out, or
yeah,
if you wanted to cancel a plan on someone, do you still have a hard time doing that without feeling guilty?
are you asking if I feel guilty if I cancel or the other way around?
If you cancel
Oh.
on a plan that you have, or do you feel guilty by being honest? And
No, I don't feel guilty. I may feel bad about canceling last minute. Like I just actually had to do. I had something scheduled for 9 a.m. this morning with somebody that lives in Germany. So we were supposed to meet on Zoom because he was being really nice about. He's very generous with his time, and we were going to work through some technical stuff with program, and I completely forgot that my nephews were coming over and they were staying the night, and I knew that it would be too distracting to sit here for an hour in a meeting while there's two kids here trying to play on the PlayStation, right? So I said, I apologize, I completely forgot, and I double booked that my nephews are coming over and we're gonna have to reschedule. But I felt really bad because that guy was moving stuff on his calendar just to talk to me, and he lives on the other side of the world, so I felt bad about that. But I don't do that often. Usually I'm pretty good about scheduling and I know what's actually happening.
how badly did you feel?
It
What was the feeling?
didn't, I felt that sometimes, like, definitely, like, one thought that went through my head was that maybe he would be a little upset or pissed off that he told me he was going to reschedule some things, move some things around so he could talk to me, because there's a big time difference between Canada and Germany. So I did feel a little bit bad, like maybe he's going to be a little bit pissed off, but he's a nice guy, so there's no issue. But that I had that feeling, that thought, but it didn't linger. It didn't, like, I wasn't thinking about that for hours after. It was there for a moment, but it went away. I think if I was in my 20s, that feeling would have lingered, and I would have thought about that all fucking day. I would have been, I'm a biggest asshole. Like, you know, you can't get
I'm
your
a
shit
piece of
together.
shit.
Like, you can't do something basic like schedule your fucking day properly. You don't know what's happening in your life. Like, write it down. What are you, a baby? Write it down. Put it on your calendar. Right? But I don't beat myself up like that anymore. It's just not healthy. Can't live like that.
Yeah. Tough.
So, because we're going on a little bit long, but I guess my question is to you, because I know you're always working on yourself, you know, seeing a therapist, I think, is also helpful, and it's something I would like to do as well. But my question to you is, what kind of strategies can you think of? Maybe just even a few simple things, strategies that you've actually implemented in your own life that you can say with certainty has made a positive impact in reducing like those kind of like negative thoughts, and whether it's being present in the moment or not being easily distracted or not have negative thoughts linger. Like, what kind of things are you doing? Can you give some concrete examples?
I think a lot of it for me, man, has come to it's an everyday practice. I think it's accepting the present moment and just accepting that the fact that I don't feel good right now, the fact that I don't know how I feel is okay, and I accept that. Like, I accept not knowing what the future holds. I accept not having a good episode. I accept stuttering my words. I accept eating like shit the night before and feeling like ass the next morning. Because I used to beat myself up over it. I'm like, fuck, like why did I have those 2 pints of ice cream last night at 12 a.m.? Now I feel like shit. But now I feel it, I process it, and I tell myself I accept it.
That's good.
I accept it. And another thing I would say, and not to be cliche or like corny and one of those guys like in the manosphere saying, oh, you got to get your diet right and work out. But I think that eating healthy and being the best shape I can be and really just dialing into that in itself creates that discipline, that mental discipline you need to get over things quicker. Yeah. Because if you think about it, man, like there was a time where I was eating like shit, not working out as much, drinking a lot over the weekends, not getting enough sleep. And people were like, well, tell me what you're doing, Mo. Like, what's your lifestyle like? Oh, well, I eat junk food. I'm not working out as much. I don't sleep as much. I'm drinking a lot. I'm kind of just like sitting at home and not really socializing with anyone. Okay. So Mo, why do you think you feel bad? Why do you feel like you're anxious? Oh, well, I don't know. Right? Like it's just such a simple equation. Yeah. And if you can only get a couple of those or just one of those down right, and you start to figure that out, then it's a trickle effect into the others. And I'm really not one of those guys where I'm like, okay, you got to wake up at 5 a.m. or you got to set the tone for your day by waking up at 5 a.m. and jumping in an ice cold bath. No, I'm not like that. But I think some of the other strategies, man, I think it's just letting go of everything. I mean, it's out of our control, dude. Everything is out of our control. what can we really control? Like, what can we really actually control if you really think about it? Like, if you gave me a list of things that you can control right now.
Well, I'd say I can control.
You can control the fact that you're not going to jump off your balcony right now. Like,
Okay,
I mean, that's
well,
one thing you can control.
I can control what I can control is my
Give me a
the
list.
words the words that I choose. I think for me, language is really important, and the words that come out of my mouth can change like the trajectory of what happens in my life. It's really that simple.
Okay, so that's one of your things that you can
Like
control.
the
your
words
communication.
that I choose can make me not get that job or get that job that I want. Something as simple as that.
I wouldn't even say that. You can't even control it. You can say all the right things and still not get the job.
That is true. That is true.
Absolutely not.
But I can
completely
but at least it gives me a fighting chance. And I think that's actually really important. If I want a fighting chance at life, then I need to be careful about the words that I choose and how I behave. Because really, that's all I can control.
You can behave great and still get the shit on the stick. I mean, you got
that's true.
You got a convicted felon as the president of the
But
United
it's to me,
States.
it's a game of chance. It's like I want the best possible outcome. So what
right, but is that completely in your control? Chance. Is chance in your control?
No, it isn't.
Again, out of your control, out of your hands. Again, what can you really control?
Yeah, you got me in a tough spot. I definitely think that how I interact with people.
Can you control?
Yeah.
Can you control me deciding tonight that I'm never going to message you again? Can you control that?
No. But I'm telling you, asked me a question, and I'm telling you, I can still control my words and how I interact with
right,
people.
but whether that does anything in your benefit,
But that's not the point. You asked me what I can control, and I'm telling you what I can control. Now, everything else that comes after that, that's a crapshoot. But at least I can control what comes out of my mouth.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, 100%. So your words, your
exactly,
your communication, what
right.
you say. What else? I mean, let's really I actually kind of want to do this as a little exercise. Like, what can we actually control? What can Mo and Alex control in their lives?
There's honestly not much. I think
if you really break it down,
I think what I just said is pretty much it.
Pretty much it. Like, I mean, what?
And it's again, it's about not just the words though, but also we all make decisions, right? For better or worse. Sometimes we make good decisions. Sometimes we make poor decisions. Those decisions have some kind of impact on our life, on our day-to-day life. So all we can do is try to make, through reason and logic, the best possible decision at that moment. Mm-hmm. And then see what happens.
Yeah,
let's see what happens.
Because you could make all the right decisions and eat the healthiest foods, work out every morning.
Yeah, I could get hit by I could get hit by a bus.
You can get hit by a bus or develop cancer.
Yep. And that would be, again, out of my control. That is just life throwing you a bad deck of cards.
If you want to look at it
I
that
acknowledge
way,
that.
And I think that just goes back to the theme of the episode, 100th episode. It's out of our control and we just accept it. We just accept it. You just got to accept that you're not going to be Steve Jobs. You just got to accept that you're not going to be Elon Musk.
I accepted that a long time ago, but I guess all I can do is continue to focus on what I can control, which are the decisions that I make in my life, and continue to work and chip away at the goals that I have, and just forget about all that other stuff. Like you said, just let go. Just forget about all that stuff, because that's all bullshit. That's just noise. That's just noise in my life that I can't control. And that's what I got to continue to work on. That's all you can do, really.
It's an everyday battle, man. It's every single moment, really. It's every single moment. I mean, just sitting here, even after this episode, after we stop recording, it begins again. The cycle begins again. Oh, well, what clips are we going to make? What are we going to do with this? Oh, I should have been better than this. Oh, I got to drive home now. I got to make dinner. Oh, I got to eat something healthy because I want to feel good the next day and tonight, and I want to get a good sleep. Like it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. And
yeah,
acceptance, man.
Absolutely, 100%. I think that's yeah. I like the theme that we went with on this one, and hopefully anybody watching, hopefully you got something out of it too, because I think these are like all the stuff that we're talking about. I don't think this is unique to just the two of us. I think everybody faces that stuff, and you know, find friends that you can talk to, find people that you can confide in, whether it's a friend or family member or therapist, or if you're a person of faith, if it's your pastor or whatever. Find somebody that you can talk to about that stuff, because I think you gotta have somebody that you can talk to. You can't just go in it.
But don't fall
go at it
victim.
alone.
But don't fall victim into depending on that person for that
That's an
safety net.
100%.
Because if you had a projector up and you had your life in sequences of like snapshots, it's like the main character just stays the same. It's you. It's the same thing. It's the video game character that stays throughout the whole video game and just ends up the person still standing is that. That's
Right. Yeah,
That's all we really got ourselves, man.
it's true. That's true. And when somebody told me once that when I was talking to them about my own mortality and talking to them about being afraid to die alone, just thinking about all the different ways I could die, whether it's getting hit in front, hit by a bus, or not being there with family in the end. They told me, well, everybody dies alone. Somebody could physically be in the room with you, but they can't take that journey with you when you die. That's a journey that you take alone. And it really made me think about it differently. It
Wow,
doesn't
that's a good one. Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's there.
Perfect representation of living as well, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like
And-
very connected to each other.
Yeah, and you can't take
Thank you.
you can't take your possessions with you. You can't take your knowledge with, like, all of that. Again, depending on your personal beliefs, and if you're a person of faith, that's different. But for me, that person can't come with me. My belongings can't come with me. My money can't come with me. Like, none of that. It's just all going away. And so you have to just accept it, that all the more reason why everything that you do on a day-to-day should be like, you should think about it like, this is my last day on earth. Like, just make every moment count. Get rid of the noise in your life and just focus on what you can
Get
control.
rid of the noise. Yeah, man. Just get rid of the
There's
noise.
a lot of noise out there.
Get rid of shit that doesn't make you feel good. Just don't focus on things that don't help you. They just don't make you feel good. Don't look at someone that you don't like. Don't give in to that. Just
Well, I think
do
that's
things that make you at peace, give you peace. Don't overcomplicate it. It's just
and I think and it's very hard to do it, but also know when you need to also separate yourself, or at the very least minimize the time you spend with people that are just not good to have in your life. The kind of toxic, the people that just bring you down, the people that are just negative, that they're just like it's just like a vampire. Having a vampire that's constantly feeding on your energy all the time. Like, you need to know when to cut those kind of things out of your life. And it's not easy.
cut out them vampires, man. Cut out
Yeah.
them vampires. 100th episode, man. Do you want to do the little thank you?
Yeah, for those listening, and for anyone watching, if you've been listening to the show for a while, I can't speak for Mo, but thank you for supporting the show. 100 episodes is a lot. This show's come a long way, and couldn't do it without you, and hopefully you'll stick around.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone that's supported, to everyone that's listened and watched. Just even the clips, the minute, 1 minute, 2 minute clips, and just has gotten something out of it, right? And that's the whole goal out of this podcast, is for something for everyone out there to get something out of. And I'm really looking forward to the next 100 episodes. I really am. And, you know, we're just getting started. Really, we're really just getting started, and it's only going to get better from here. And I really do appreciate the support and all the love from people messaging me, to even people hating on me and, you know, commenting a lot of things. But I take it all with a great amount of appreciation, and I'm glad where we've came, man. It's been a long time coming.
And the last thing I want to say too is that, because we've done 100, is that I never really thought about this until recently, that I feel like when you do that many episodes of a show like this, it feels like you're watching a child like go through the stages of life, like from becoming a child to, you know, a teenager to becoming an adult. And you really see that, and I hope you can see that progression of how your show has evolved over time and how you have grown as a person, become a better interviewer, a better communicator. I hope you can see that progression.
For sure, dude. For sure. It's pretty neat to see it. It's pretty neat to look at, especially from the first 10, 20 episodes, and just how much it's grown. And yeah, it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see. It's a piece of art being expressed in the form of communication and talking.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing this together, and
Agreed.
it's fun. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Sir.
All right, you want to call it?
Let's call it. Enjoy your 24, baby. Episode 100.